Welcome everybody. I am here at I Am the Juice Place with my great friend, Omies right here, Shakera. She has a health and beauty channel, Glow Beauty Wellness. And after years of knowing her and always wanting to work with her, she finally made it in. How you doing?
Yes, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Cheers.
Cheers.
What did you tell me about the juice here?
Pure, straight up juice, no filler, no juice like added into it, no pineapple juice. Like he just pressed it and put it in a cup.
Nice. And that's the beautiful place about the spot. Why I chose it, because you know it's a little oasis in the middle of Dallas, so we can just sit and have a little chit chat about that yoga life. So for those that don't know, she was pretty much one of the very first people who was going to give me an opportunity as soon as I finished my yoga teacher training, and you were teaching at the women's
Dallas County Jail. Dallas County Jail. I was working with a nonprofit called Texas Hope Literacy. And Texas Hope Literacy was a nonprofit organization that I was involved with that was actually my first yoga teaching opportunity here in Texas. I wasn't even certified, nothing. I just taught based on what I had experienced as a student.
Talk about courage and confidence.
Yes, I was scared.
Can we get an om for that?
I was definitely 1,000% scared because I'd never been to jail or prison.
Let's give it up for her never being in jail or prison.
Never been arrested. So I was very afraid because I did not know how the women would respond to me. I didn't know if they were gonna be like, ain't nobody doing no yoga, it's whack, you don't even know what you're doing. I was very, very, very scared, but I did it my first day. I could not sleep the night before, but the next day was awesome.
Okay, so can you go a little bit more in depth of, here you are, fresh out of, not Texas, culture shock, you're California?
Yeah.
And you're getting thrown into the Bible Belt. Going into a Texas prison or correctional facility. Like, how did you feel walking down that hall? Were you like, I'm about to back out before I even walk in?
Scared. Well, I thought about,
like, how did you prepare yourself for your course that day, for your class?
So I met with a woman who was with Yoga Faith. They have a faith-based yoga program. And I was trying to make it as Christian friendly as possible because it was a Christian program.
Interesting.
But I'm not, it is interesting. And so I had to kind of like weave in scripture and stuff like that. And I'm not Christian, I'm not anti-faith or anybody's faith or anything like that. But I just don't identify as Christian anymore. But I respect it, and I think that there are a lot of valuable quotes in the Bible or scripture that many other faiths use. But anyhow, that's not the point. But the way I prepared was just making sure that I did not offend anyone and that I stayed within alignment with what the organization itself was teaching. So that was important for me. So just studying that, making sure I don't say certain things. Like I never ohmed there. I never did any ohm, no chanting, no mention of anything like how we're taught, And I didn't even know anything about that then either. But as I started to learn, I didn't. Because they just wasn't what they wanted to do. So coming from California, as a matter of fact, before I even came here, I had my plan. I wrote down that I wanted to teach in the jails, and I started researching to teach in California. But then I ended up moving here randomly. It was either here or back to Maryland, and I didn't want to go back to Maryland. So I wrote it down that I wanted to teach fitness and health and wellness. I wanted them to drink green juice, and the lemon is so strong in here, my mouth is watering. That's why I keep going like this. But I wrote down what I wanted to do what I want to teach, because I'm a holistic health coach as well. So in school we learn about the healing properties of juice. We learn about the healing properties of food. So I figure if I teach them how to eat and live, they won't go back to prison or jail. So that was my goal, you know, for teaching the women in the jail and prison.
So you mentioned that you had kind of like a 180 or 360 from going into the following day.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying, so your first experience went pretty good despite...
It was awesome.
So talk about that and the experience from how you were received.
Oh, they loved it. And so, okay, so the first day...
Ooh, this is yummy, y'all.
The first day I went in, you know, you go in and you got to go through security. Then it was up on the 4th floor, I believe. And as a matter of fact, we're not that far from the jail.
Right.
I feel like I can see it over there. Or maybe I can't.
It's in the opposite direction. But
no, that way?
Yeah. I don't know how I know where the jail is, but
yeah,
we'll keep on.
So you go through security, and then you go up to like the 4th floor, and I was introduced to the women in the pod, and the executive director at the time was like, "This is Shakera. She's gonna be teaching yoga, da da da." And I went through with my notes too. Like now I don't teach with notes. It's distracting for me. I just teach off the top of my head. And so I'm like looking over and I'm like, you know, a little bit nervous, but I mean, the thing about teaching is that your students they will not know if you mess up. They don't know what yoga is. They're just like, you know, following you. So I realized that pretty quickly, and once I realized that, I was just like, all right.
That was a pro tip for all you new yoga teachers.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Stop overthinking. Stop trying to be perfect. Oh, I have to have the perfect playlist. I have to do this and have that. No.
Look a certain way.
You do not have to look
a certain amount
way.
of things.
Nope.
Anyways, back to the yummy story.
Yeah, I mean, I taught, and the executive director was there, and there were other people there because we were trying to get some more money for the program. And so I was trying to make sure it wasn't like, they call it secular. I was trying to make sure it wasn't secular, and that it was like within alignment with like their Christian values and faith and stuff like that. And so, I mean, I did it. Everybody was really grateful and happy and appreciative, because what they do in there all day is just sit around, lay around, play cards, eat garbage food, you know. So you get a little music in there, a little yoga mats, had really nice yoga mats, Yoga Rat, and another brand sent me a whole bunch of really nice mats. So really grateful for that, really thankful. So it was awesome. And then from that point on, I would go up there, and the executive director let me expand the program. So not only did we have yoga, and I weaved in some Pilates, so like a fusion, yoga fusion, and I did art, music therapy. I had like that traditional yoga music that people think of going on, and it was very relaxing for them. We did Shavasana. I taught them a little bit of things in terms of mudras and stuff like that, certain asanas, what they could do when they're sitting around and stuff like that to help their bodies. So, but I also was reading to them. Mm-hmm. Neville Goddard has an amazing book called Resurrection, and it really breaks down, and it was perfect for them because he was a Christian, but he teaches you how to read in between the lines of what's in the Bible, you know. And so it was relevant to them and helpful for them, at least I hope so, in terms of helping them get a control of their lives and understanding that everything starts from here. And with doing yoga, you can turn inward and then use all these things as tools to not go back to the jail.
That's awesome. That's very beautiful, because, you know, living in Texas, I too have been lucky. I was attending a church one time, and in my mind, I just had this random false thought that I would love to teach yoga here, but I don't think that they would vibe with that. But surprisingly, they did, and it was very nice, because I basically just let the pastor open it up with whatever gospel or word. And my take on it was, I just told everybody, when you pray, that's when you talk to God. When you meditate, that's when you listen. And so I can relate to being able to make something harmonious out of something that could cause conflict and friction, but being able to find a way to still do the work.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that like I felt awkward sometimes, like trying to tiptoe around.
She got that let me keep it real face. Some of y'all might need to go somewhere else.
I mean,
take a little break from this channel.
I just felt like, and even on my channel, I made a video called "Is Yoga Evil?" because a lot of Christians think that, let me not just say Christians, just say people in general think that yoga is evil. And I'm like, well, have you researched? Because most things that people are afraid of or they think is evil, they don't understand.
Okay.
And then once you understand it, like there are people that won't even touch it. They're like, that's why I do not want Om in class at all, because people think it's like.
So can you share?
What are you doing?
A beautiful, heartwarming experience that you had with someone, as far as like they're connecting with themselves, maybe something they told you like, hey Shaq, you know what, you really helped me with this or that, or I really felt like this after class. Like, is there any particular person that you met or ran into that just kind of like, you know how sometimes you teach, it's that one person that says, you know, this really helped me with something that's so valuable. It's like,
well,
it's more than the $30, $40, $50 you get paid to teach a class. You know, it's just that one person that says, was there any type of experience that you really saw you had an impact?
Well, all the women in the jail, because I would look out while they're in Shavasana and just look at their faces, and you can tell like they're in that moment when they're in those few minutes of Shavasana that their face is relaxed, their jaw's relaxed, their shoulders are down. And after class, you know, you really, you know, I feel so good. I feel so much better after class, you know. And I mean, I've never been to jail, but just being there and seeing how they live and how, you know, we're here drinking juice, chilling, you know. I mean, the fact is that they obviously did something to land themselves there, but to be able to remove yourself from the actual physical space and to be somewhere else, and to see them experience that.
That is so beautiful.
Was awesome for me. And one other time in one of my classes that I teach in Little Elm, one of my students, she said, now when I'm meditating, a lot of the times I feel like I forget I'm in this body, and that's how I feel, and I just kind of am like out, you know, in the universe. And she told me she felt that way, that at a certain point she didn't hear my voice and she was just floating and she felt emotional, and I'm like, it's supposed to feel, yay, I'm like, yay.
This is why I teach.
Yeah, because I feel like when we're teaching, I don't want to say I never know who's in my class, but sometimes I don't know their level of their yoga practice, like what they do. But most people come into yoga because it's trendy, not knowing that, okay, this is not about asana, this is not about how good you look or how good you think I look, or if you can't chaturanga, it doesn't matter. Chaturanga.
Oh, okay. That's just for people out there. You know, we're going to put a little definition at the bottom.
Chaturanga, which is actually my favorite. Am I loud? No. Am I loud? Okay, I'm good. Okay. Because, I mean, that's what I really, 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 really wish that every student understood, that it's not even about what you think it's about. And that's pretty much how I start my class. Like, do what you need to do to get through the class, you know, but what matters is your breath and how you feel in your body.
Cool. And that's what I would like to also share with people, is to let them see that it's a lifestyle. Mm-hmm. You know, like yoga, I tell people, this is what I tell people, yoga could be you taking a breath when traffic gets on your nerves. Yoga could be you taking 10 extra seconds to take that bite or putting your fork down. Like, that's yoga.
Yep.
And it's helped me, because I'm not going to lie. Here goes some truth moment. That's why I got into yoga. I saw them ads at Equinox. I was there. But then this door opened up, and it led me to where I am now, to be more compassionate about everything. So, and that's the beauty, because I've had that epiphany where, like, oh, I'm bringing what I felt in the classroom into my everyday life. And I think it's very important for entrepreneurs, which is another great reason why she's here, because she is a self-made boss. And you can always learn something from a self-made boss. So how has yoga helped you in your journey of this self-made bossism path that you're on with the Glow Beauty Wellness?
Well, let me just say that I started practicing yoga and didn't even know I was practicing yoga. I started practicing just meditating. That's it. In my meditation bowl, and really out of a space of like hurt and pain. I was my second marriage, and just trying to figure that out, trying to figure out why I kept doing the same thing or getting with like the same type of person. And then I sat down and realized that I was the problem, that it was never my exes, it was me.
Look at them. Look at.
It was me.
You see the close up on the eyes? That's why I give you that close up.
It was me, and that was painful for me to realize that, okay, yeah, these things did happen to me. I was hurt. People did hurt me, but you have to be in a space of allowing people to hurt you for it to even happen. And the thing about, you gotta allow, like, if someone keeps hurting you and it's a victim, like a lot of us like to be in the victim mentality. Oh, well, they did this to me. They did this to me. Well, did you stand there and let them do it? Or did you walk away and say that I deserve better than this?
And I think a lot of men actually hold back from telling their story because we go through the similar thing. You know, I've had times where I say to myself, oh, it's because this person this and wants me to do this and wants me to do this. Well, who's the one telling them yes? Me. If I said, no, I can't take you here. No, I can't do this favor for you. No, that's doing too much. No, now I'm bending over backwards.
Yep.
It was me that was allowing me to babysit versus saying I'm not a babysitter.
Right, and then yoga.
No offense, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, I saw that the problem was me too.
Right. And yoga, I mean, just slowing down and realizing these things about myself and opening myself up to saying, all right, I am effed up. I got issues. I'm not perfect. I mean, I'm pretty close to it, but I'm just kidding. I mean, I'm like right there, but I learned, so through slowing down, through meditating, I learned that I was codependent. And before, back in the day, I thought codependent meant, you know, I need you for this, and so I'm dependent on you, and then you need me for this. Codependency, or at least for me, it was me wanting to fix people so that I could avoid fixing myself. So I got this book, and I just went right on into it because I was tired of going through the same stuff over and over again. So that started my journey, just sitting down, meditating in the closet, just being with myself, breathing, breath work, inhale, exhale. That's how yoga started for me. In fact, I used to hate yoga. I thought it was whack. I thought it was some punk workout. I was like, man, I don't have time for that.
Yeah, because if you see her, she goes hard on her Instagram. Sometimes I'm like, stop working out. I just feel bad about myself now. I went to go get inspired, but now I just feel bad.
That's how I felt. I'm like, man, y'all are whack.
No, but I have a lot of guys tell me, yo, I don't like yoga because all that still. I'd rather be like punching the bag or doing something, which is a form of yoga. And like my friend Priya said, that's part of the getting there. That can all be the getting there.
Yeah.
But then this quiet part is the being there, staying there.
Yes. Yeah, and it could just be 5 minutes, and that's what I learned, that over time I learned that there is no right or wrong way to do yoga. There's a safe way to practice asana, but like you said, just in traffic, or when you want to curse somebody out, or whatever, that can be your yoga. So anyway, meditation and then asana started here in Texas. So I practiced meditation for like 3 years before I even got into asana. And I did that mainly because I had to teach it.
And what other holistic lifestyles and services do you offer to people?
I do like I can create menus based on what you want to do. Like if you're vegan, if you're paleo, whatever you want to do. I'm a bomb cook. Like I can really.
You hear how she said that? There's a lot of truth there. I can already hear it. Damn.
Bomb. Like that actually was a big part of Glow Beauty Wellness and my channel and how that started too, because everyone is like, oh, I want to eat healthy or I want to go vegan, but I don't know how to do it.
So let me ask you this. You California, Boston, or Maryland, when you came to Texas, what was that vegan transition like? Where the vegan restaurants? We're like, it's a desert out here. What was your whole...
Well, okay, so here's my stance on veganism. I'm not vegan. I don't like labels. I feel like when people are like, oh, I'm vegan, I was for a while. When I was in California, I was better with in terms of like how much vegetables I eat and stuff like that. More creative, I'll say. But I just don't like the trendy stuff, like you're vegan because who's a popular vegan? And I'm not talking about anyone in general, but a lot of people.
Well, everyone's
it's like yoga.
Everyone's becoming a pop. There's a lot of popular vegans now.
Who's a vegan though?
Well, like Beyonce, Jay-Z, they're going.
They are not vegan.
Okay, well they're not then. All right. Well, let's say
they're vegan for the money. Because I remember the book she was promoting. She's like, oh,
Waka Flocka said he stopped being vegan because of vegans.
Because it's like
politics. It's politics.
It's politics. It's about because just like yoga.
That's a whole nother bag.
I can throw up a vegan restaurant. People will go. It could be vegan soul food. That doesn't mean it's healthy. Stop.
Right.
Like if you're gonna be vegan, if you're straight up, I just drink juice and eat salads. That's what I do. And you're vegan. You're real vegan if that's what you do. You've been doing it for 20 years. But if you're like, oh, I do soul food veganism because Waka Flocka does it.
Or like everything that you have, you don't have a good balance of processed foods and natural, organic, nutritional. It's kind of like defies the whole
nutrient
purpose.
dense.
Yeah, nutrient dense. Like what's the point of selling something that's, yeah, you can eat Oreos and say you're a vegan, but you're eating Oreos.
Right, and drink beer. And I'm not trying to judge. I'm not saying that you can't indulge in the things of this world, the 3D. Because I like champagne. It's my thing. But I got to back up. Because I drink too much or overindulge. I like certain things that are unhealthy. It's about balance. And it's also about... Her bag is cute. It's also about... what makes you feel the best. When I was eating more vegetables and fruit, I felt better. I felt like I was more lean. And it's a fact that when you eat a lot of meat and there's sodium in it, there's so much crap in it, it's not good for us, but we have to find balance. In this world where it's like meat has additives and stuff like that keep us coming back. It's like a constant push-pull. It's exhausting sometimes. So anyway, when I got here, it wasn't a big culture shock. The biggest culture shock for me was the farmers market.
Well, I'm saying, like when you try to teach people here in Texas, has that been like something that people are like, I just can't give up meat and I'm so used? Because this is Texas. You have the State Fair of Texas. They fry everything. They fry the oil.
They need their steaks.
And people love their leather over here.
They love their steaks. Well... It's typically like the wives or the girls, the feminine energy of the relationships that want more vegetables, and they're like, you need to you have high cholesterol, and I watch this channel and blah blah blah, and we need to do this. And they try, when I first got here, I was teaching at Natural Grocers. The grocery store? Yeah, in Denton. And I did an anti-inflammatory class where it was no meat. I did a chickpea. Like, I have some bomb recipes, like, straight up. Curry chickpea. Curry chickpeas.
Somebody's coming back to cook us some food. That's all I know.
I'm telling you, like, some bomb. That was my thing, because everyone knows you should eat more vegetables, but they're like, man, I just can't do the greens and this and that. I have some bomb smoothie recipes, but I have some free ones on my website too. It's like 10 of them, where you got superfoods and it tastes good, because not everybody, like, I appreciate this green, earthy, you know, but not everybody does. They're like, right. I can't do it. So, yeah, I mean, I have recipes, you know, I can help y'all out. I cooking classes and offering recipes and stuff like that, and just experimenting is the biggest thing also. Experimenting with your food is the biggest thing, you know.
So we know that you offer, so so we know that you offer cooking. What else? You also offer beauty consulting and help people with their journey, embracing. That's one thing I've noticed about you from the outside looking in, you know. I have that feeling that you like to empower women and like to have them tune in to their inner beauty as well, not just the outer.
My first business that I started was a image consulting company. And most of my clients were women that were like boss women, like executives, but didn't look like it. They didn't know how to dress, they didn't know how to put together an outfit, and that made, even though they were highly educated, because it doesn't matter how much money you have, your education or anything like that, it's about how you feel about yourself. You know, the outer shell is really important, but I started to realize that a lot of them had weight issues, confidence issues, and if they got that under control, then they would feel better. Like right now, I don't look my best. Like my hair is, I just taught a class. This wig is ratty, okay? So I sweat, but I'm super confident, but that comes from yoga and knowing who I am and knowing who people really are, because this is just a vehicle for us to get through life, you know?
I see.
We have a soul, and this is something that I encourage all women that have like any type of self-confidence issues. Get a mirror, put it right here, and look at yourself. Stare into your eyes, into your soul, and tell yourself you're beautiful. You know, all those different affirmations to boost your confidence, because that is when you start to realize, like, I'm the shit. Not just because everybody else thinks that I am, or thinks that, or says that, or whatever, but because you know that you are.
Have you I've run across this, where that can be an uncomfortable feeling at first. You giving yourself self-love, something that is not something that you're used to doing, the people around you or your environment might not be able to doing. Do you have any advice for people who, I just tell people, in my personal experience, I've worked in the mental health, and say, just keep repeating it like you would anything, like an exercise, like watering a plant. Eventually, something is going to happen. And
cry. I've cried looking into my eyes, telling myself all of the positive affirmations. Cry. That is like a breakthrough. Most people aren't comfortable with tears. Me as well, I used to be, but now I allow myself to feel whatever I need to feel, because if you don't allow yourself to feel that, you will never get over it. You'll be in the same space. Like, explore that feeling. This is a yoga as well. Explore, what is that? Why do I feel that way? Well, how can I change it? Instead of why do I feel, why? You know, I have a friend, bless her heart, who just thinks she's so unattractive, and she always says, you know, just the worst things about herself. And I'm like, that's not true. You know, that's not true. But you have to believe that about yourself. Have you ever met someone that you didn't think was attractive, like physically? Does not make, let me take a sip on that. Being real with yourself as a man does not make a man weak. Understanding that the masculine and feminine energy in everyone, I have it, Melissa has it, Juan has it, everyone has it. It's a balancing
Balance.
act. So in our society, women are way more masculine sometimes than men, because a lot of times we have to be. We're single mothers, and this is something I had to do. I had to fall back. Like, you're not the dude, you're not a guy.
You don't have to go.
Right, you don't have to go. There's a balance between, like, when I'm working, more of my masculine energy is being released. But when I'm like on a date or, you know, whatever, I fall back. I'm very feminine. And that's, you know, with guys, y'all not supposed to be crying all the time. You're not. You're not. You're supposed to be real with yourself. Be like, okay, these are the things I'm supposed to do as a man. But not, I mean, I believe in gender roles also, so that's a whole nother conversation. But, like, you know, yeah, it's okay for a guy to cry.
Yeah, because, you know, I mean, and I agree with you. Like, you just can't be stuck in cry land either. But, you know, one thing that I do remember, and I think this is how I want to end this off, like, when you're in that state, and like you said, crying, I forgot where I read it, and I wish I could remember. Somebody, please tag or comment so we can know where this comes from. But I read this somewhere. They were saying that when you're crying, like, your body's kind of hotter, it's hot, tears are coming out, and that's the beauty, that when you let these tears come out, the warmth creates rainbows. Like, your tears come out and you're creating a rainbow that needed to be seen from that, you know? It's just like what happens when the rain and then the sun comes out. Well, that's what happens when your tears come out. You get to see this rainbow within you that wouldn't have happened if you didn't cry.
Yeah, I mean, tears are there for a reason. I don't, you know, like when my sons cry, it should be for a reason. We need to explore that. You know, there's a reason behind our feelings. A lot of people don't acknowledge their feelings too. That's a problem. But we have our feelings for a reason, our emotions and the way that we feel physically, how we react to things and stuff like that. Those are all gifts meant to be explored. And, you know, if we sit down long enough in Shavasana or meditation or whatever, the answer will come to you. You know, well, what do I need to do from here? You know, so.
That is beautiful. Thank you. So there you have it. Today's nuggets of wisdom from Shakera. Look her up. And that's how we're going to end this segment. Y'all check out I Am the Juice Place. Come see my friend D. Right here. He will hook you up with some real juice. We don't mess around with that
filler,
low vibrating stuff. This is nothing but high vibrations over here.
Yes.
So peace out.
Bye.